Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be showing you around Ogden, Utah. Now, this is going to be part of Weber County. I'm actually here in front of Weber State University. You can see the valley here behind me, which is pretty epic. There are some trees in the way. Over this way is Weber State. And if I swing around this way, you can see the Wasatch Front mountain range right there behind me. Pretty epic views from up here. Overall, this is a great place to live. We're going to talk about everything you need to know. We're going to talk about schools, culture, houses, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So with that said, we're going to jump in this video here. If you're thinking about making a move here, or you're looking at moving to anywhere here in the Wasatch Front, anywhere northern Utah, please reach out to me. Call, text, or email me anytime. I've had thousands of people reach out from videos just like this and cannot wait to hear from you as well. So if I can help you in any way, please reach out, and I'd love to chat with you. Now with that said, let's go explore some neighborhoods. So first off, let's talk about this area and why people choose to live in Ogden or the surrounding areas. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you've got Weber State University. It's a pretty major university for northern Utah, so a lot of people are going to school there. And then you also have the military base, Hill Air Force Base. So there's a lot of military here in the area. And then additionally to that, you've got a ton of blue collar jobs, manufacturing, and just other industrial type jobs here in this area. There's a lot of trains that come through this area. There's a couple oil refineries not too far from here as well. So that's a big reason why people live in this area. And also it's quite a bit cheaper than some of the other areas that we've covered here on the channel. I'll actually talk a little bit more about house prices here in just a minute, and give you a rundown on what that looks like. But yeah, overall, that's why people love living in this area. The other great thing about it is that you get easy access to the Wasatch Mountains. As you just saw when I was there at Weber State, you've got amazing access to tons of trailheads. Just up Ogden Canyon, you've got Pine View Reservoir, you've got Huntsville. Very, very nice area. Lots of people like to recreate up there. It is more expensive to live up there, but overall, just a very fantastic spot to be and to explore. So that's another thing, is it's a little bit less busy here, so people are able to get out a little bit easier than if you're looking in the further south areas. So guys, as you'll see, as we're driving around these neighborhoods, you're gonna get a good feel for what the areas look like. I've actually got a school just right here. This is one of the few schools in the area. And if I turn around here, you can actually see some of these massive trees that line Ogden. I think that's one great thing about Ogden, is they've got a ton of really big mature trees. Because it is a little bit older of an area, a lot of the stuff has been here for a while, and so it just has a little bit different feel. Yes, Utah is a mountain. Yes, it is a desert. We are at a higher elevation, but having those extra trees and foliage, in my opinion, just gives it a much better feel compared to a lot of areas. Now, if I swing over this way, you can see some of the areas, some of the houses here behind me. Yes, most streets are going to have sidewalks. In fact, the sidewalk is on this side of the street here in this particular area. No sidewalk over there. Some will have sidewalks on both sides, and there will be a few neighborhoods that don't have any sidewalks. So just think of all to consider as you're looking at homes. Typical lot size here is going to be roughly, maybe 1/5 of an acre to 1/3 of an acre. So 0.2 to 0.3 would be pretty typical for lot sizes here in the area. And I'm actually going to show you guys a map later on in the video showing you just kind of the general area, right? I can only show you so much when I'm out here walking around, driving around. So stick around for later on in the video when I show you a map. I'll show you exactly, different landmarks, different things that you'll need to know for getting outdoors, different places to go and see, and what the busy areas are, what the more rural areas are. We'll talk about all of that. So make sure to stick around for that. Now, Ogden is actually a pretty old city. As you drive around these neighborhoods, you'll notice that there's a lot of houses that were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even some that are going to be older than that, built in the early 1900s near the downtown area. Ogden was one of the first cities established here in Utah, so there are older homes. Of course, there are newer homes as well. There's just going to be fewer of them out there, but overall, a little bit older homes. The other thing I want to touch on here is, because I get a ton of questions about this, and this is just a fact that I was able to find online, as well as kind of just a estimate, if you will. The LDS population here is actually sitting at about somewhere around 40%. That's a question I get a lot about Utah in general is, hey, what's the LDS population for these different areas? There's not specific numbers that get released on what the population is, but from the research I was able to do, it's roughly 40%. So not in the majority like a lot of other Utah cities are, but something you'll definitely want to know and account for as you consider looking at different areas. Now, one of the great things about living here in Ogden is your money just goes so much further when it comes to housing here in the general area. You can get single family homes for about $425 to $440. That's the median price here in the area. Townhomes are going to be closer to about $375, and then you can even find condos if you want a smaller place around the $300 mark, maybe $320 or so for a decent place. So homes are much cheaper here. If you're looking at other areas, you can find luxury homes here. However, most of those are going to be further south, maybe in North Ogden, or even in other cities to the south of the Hill Air Force Base, such as Farmington, Kaysville, or Layton. So those are other areas you should maybe consider if you're looking at more of a luxury style home or a higher priced home. Yes, there are some more expensive homes here in the Ogden city limits, but most people go outside of those for the nicer homes. Now, the other thing I do want to mention is that you can find newer homes here in Ogden City, but you are going to spend somewhere between $550 to $600 for a new home on a median basis, right? Some will be a little bit cheaper than that, and some are going to be a little bit more expensive than that. So you can find new homes here in the area. Plan on spending about $600,000 for one of those. Next up, guys, let's talk about the schools here in the area. To be honest, the schools here in Weber County are not going to be the best. In fact, they rank number 25 in the state, so they're not the worst, but they're also not the best. They do rank a little bit higher than Granite, which is one of the popular school districts down in Salt Lake County. But ranking number 25, they are behind a lot of the other major school districts. For instance, a lot of people choose, if they're living here in the northern part of Utah, they'll choose to go down to Davis County because the school district there ranks number 12 in the state. So you've got better schools there. And if that's something that's important to you, you might want to consider that. Yes, you can find some good schools here, especially if you go private or you go charter. But for public schools, generally looking a little bit further south or southwest is going to be a better option. So really quick, guys, the cool thing about this is I know that we showed a lot of older homes on the video here, but there are newer homes as well. And the cool thing is, I mean, you can see right through these trees how close the mountains are. I mean, yes, we're a little bit further east at this particular time, but the mountains are so close. No matter where you live in the city, you can get there within about 10, maybe 15 minutes. So it's extremely easy to get around here. Traffic is really not too bad, and overall, it's a great place to live. So if you're thinking about making a move, whether you end up choosing Ogden or anywhere else in between, just a quick reminder, reach out to me. My information will be here on the screen. Please call, text, or email me anytime. All All right, guys, so we're now back in the office. We're taking a look at this map. I wanted to jump in here in the office and show you around my computer because it's just so much easier to really visualize what you're looking at when you're looking at a map rather than me just driving around neighborhoods, right? For most people who are not familiar with the area, that doesn't mean a whole lot. So I wanted to show this map just to give you a better idea of where the new homes are at, where the luxury homes are at, and also give you just an overall sense of the Ogden area. So taking a look at the map here, you've got Ogden right here in the middle. We talked about Hill Air Force Base, which is right here to the south. This is going to be a major employer in the area, as well as a major kind of landmark or thing that you kind of have to watch out for. You also have the Ogden Airport right here, mostly a small airport, not a lot of commercial traffic going out of there. Now, I do want to jump over here to the satellite map so I can kind of give you a sense of what this looks like. So if you're coming from the south, you've really got two ways to access the Ogden area. You can take 89 right here, which goes along the eastern bench. They've just turned this in the last couple of years, turned it into a full-blown highway. So it's about time. That was long overdue. The traffic used to be just insane here on this road. So thankfully, they've now put in a bunch of bridges, overpasses, and this is a full freeway. So the traffic here is much, much better. You've got I-15, which comes up here actually along the western edge. So depending on where you're going to in the Ogden area, typically 89 is going to be a better way to get into town. But if you're over here on the west side, you could take I-15 all the way up. So these are really the two main ways to get north. After that, you're going to take I-15 if you're continuing up further north from there. Now, you do have Ogden right here. As I was mentioning about Hill Air Force Base, you can see this takes up a ton of land. And a couple other things I want to point out is this big industrial center right here. You've got a ton of warehouse, a ton of manufacturing that goes on right here. This is actually technically Clearfield, but it is kind of in the general area. And then you've also got the Ogden Airport, which we talked about. And again, this is mostly just small planes, more like a personal planes, not really, a ton of commercial traffic going out of there. I'm sure there's maybe a few flights, but honestly, I don't even know. I've never heard of somebody saying, oh, I'm flying out of Ogden. So mostly a small airport. I want to mention that you can also see actually out here to the west that there's a lot of farmland. Now the farmland is actually here because you do have the Great Salt Lake, right? So this land here, water's just a little bit closer. So you can see that in these particular areas, West Haven, West Weber, Marriott, Slaterville, these areas are growing really quickly as a lot of these farmland is converted over into housing developments such as what you see here, right? So all of this is being changed. I do expect that, for better or worse, that in the near future, in the next couple of decades, a lot of this particular area is going to continue to convert into houses and to subdivisions, right? So something to kind of watch there. If you want to be in a newer area, that might be where you want to look. Now, taking a look at this, I also want to mention how you get up the canyons. You've got 84 right here, which will take you to Mountain Green, Peterson, as well as over here to Morgan. Morgan's a beautiful city, very small. It's kind of halfway up the canyon here. You can continue taking this up. There's a couple other like really small areas, and then it takes you to Echo State Park. So this is kind of a junction where I-80 will take you further east, and then 84 takes you over here into Ogden. So Morgan's a really great area, tons of hiking. You can just see all of this green area. You've got all these valleys, tons of, just little parks and just different trailheads, and even some skiing up here further north to Snow Basin right here. So you've got Snow Basin, which is going to be your main skiing area for the Ogden area. And then you've also got Ogden Canyon right here, which will take you all the way up. So you've got the Ogden Canyon waterfall, and this takes you up to Pine View Reservoir and Huntsville. I mentioned this earlier in the video. This is actually a really nice area. Pine View is a reservoir to go boating on. And then Huntsville is a very beautiful city. It is growing like crazy. You can see there's a lot of farmland up here as well. But Huntsville is typically quite expensive, especially like a lot of these houses up on the hill. You're looking at $1, $2, $3, $4 million. And that's going to be the case for Eden as well, which is up here. Definitely, if you can afford to live here, I would go for it. This is one of the nicest areas in this particular area. So that being said, you've got Ogden right here in the center. We talked a little bit about how to go north and south. We talked about, let's talk about the schools. As I mentioned in the video earlier on, you do have better schools down here. This is going to be considered, so everything pretty much north of the Air Force Base is going to be considered Weber County. And then you've got down here to the south, which is Davis. So Davis County is typically going to have better schools. Davis School District ranks number 12 in the state, and Ogden ranks number 25. So definitely a big jump in the quality of schools in Davis. That's why a lot of people choose to go this direction. Yes, the homes are a little bit more expensive, but if schools are important to you, that might be something you want to check out. So that's a little bit of information there. I do want to show you just a couple other things here. I didn't show you a whole lot of new homes when I was out driving around, right? And that's not because I didn't want to necessarily, just because they're so far spread out, right? I was driving here around the downtown Ogden area, and as you can see, there's only a couple of new houses in this particular area. You've got a couple of like really small houses. I'm imagining these were homes that were just so rough they had to tear them down and then build something new. So you've only got a couple of infill properties right here, but most of the new houses are going to be out here to the west in West Haven, Hooper, Marriott, Slaterville, or up here in North Ogden and Pleasant View. So if you're looking for new homes, they are kind of just spread out. You can find them. You can see that they range anywhere from 400,000 all the way up to $1 million plus. So depending on what you're looking for, you can find something out there. I should also mention that you do need to be mindful that if you're here near the Air Force Base, you are going to get almost regularly, pretty much every single day, you're going to get jets flying overhead. They are loud. You can hear them. Even if you're in your house, you can hear them. It just has to become something that you get used to hearing on a regular basis if you live near the base. Now, they do try to stay like just in this general vicinity. So if you're up here in North Ogden, you're going to be fine. Probably you might hear them off in the distance if you're outside, but they're not generally going to be flying right overhead. So something worth noting there, if you're looking in the area, keep that in mind. And then I want to show you this map here as well. This is a rough overview of all of the properties in the area that are considered luxury, right? And luxury would be pretty much anything that's double the median price or more. So I just put in a minimum price here of $800,000. Of course, you've got homes that range up to a couple million, but you've got a couple little pockets here. Again, not a whole lot of luxury homes in the downtown Ogden area. You do have a few options over here near Weber State that are going to be around $1 million. A couple here in South Weber, and then again, a lot out here to the west. A lot of these properties are going to be big homes, right? 1.8 million, 7,000 square feet. You've got one here, 5,000 square feet for 829. Let's see, you've got this one, 5,000 square feet. Again, these ones will also generally have bigger lots. It's not uncommon to find a half acre, maybe a full acre, maybe even a couple acres of land in this area, but you are going to pay for it, right? 800,000, $1 million, 1.1. These are the types of prices you're going to see for kind of more of that luxury market. And then there's also a pretty big pocket here in North Ogden and Pleasant View, especially up here on the hillside. If I jump back over here to the map, you can see that up here in North Ogden, you've got the mountain range right here. You've got Ben Lomond, which is one of the most prominent peaks here on the north side. And up here in the hillside, there's a lot of really, really nice high-end homes. So with that said, guys, that kind of gives you an overview of what the map is and what hopefully helps you get your bearings straight. So with that said, guys, hopefully that kind of helps you get your bearings straight on what the overall view of the land is here, right? It gives you a little bit of information on the entertainment, a little bit of information on activities, where houses are located, new homes, luxury homes, and all of the above. If I missed anything, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to answer your questions. And also, please reach out to me, call, text, or email me anytime. My information is here on the screen. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. All right, guys, so that wraps up our video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to reach out to me if I can help you in any way. If you're looking at making a move here, whether you do end up choosing Ogden or you choose anywhere to the south of there, please let me know. My team and I service the entire state, and we'd love to help you along in that journey of yours, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Please reach out. And with that said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.